I'm sorry, what?
Welcome back to an all-new episode of Mondays Are a Mother. I'm your host, Kaylin, and if you're new here, I'm glad you found your way to this space. Last week's episode was a little bit tough. I had a lot of people reach out to me, and for one, I want to say thank you for sharing your journey and your story with me. There are a lot to go through, and I'm blessed. I'm blessed that you guys have trusted me to share in where you've been as far as addiction goes, and to also let me know that I'm not alone. And that means the world to me. That's the reason why I started this show, is to let other people know that like what they're going through is not foreign. We have a lot of things that sometimes we don't know who our real friends are sometimes. I think that we often get confused when we reach out to people because for me, myself, I feel like every time I've told people that how I feel, sometimes it's taken the wrong way, or it feels like I've said something wrong in the background, and I'm like, oh, okay, JK, April Fools, I didn't actually feel that way. And it makes me not trust how I feel. And having this show and being able to talk about it, hear it back, and be like, man, I wish I would have said this a little better, or I wish I would have cleaned this up a little bit more, um, can be hard. Can be a challenge. But knowing that the message was received is just really cool. So I want to say thank you so much, and I appreciate you more than you know. What has been going on since? Well, I took the time to take a mental reset. I was dealing with vertigo, my emotions. I reached out to my new support system and have been kind of working through of a lot of that. It's definitely different being a grown up, and there's this unspoken expectation of how you're supposed to behave and how you're supposed to act, and you're never supposed to make mistakes. And then even for kids too, we often hold this really unrealistic expectation that they're not supposed to make mistakes either, which kind of tips the scales with myself when it comes to parenting. I feel like I've been making a lot of effort and a lot of mistakes, but then resetting and figuring out what's best for us as a family. You know, there's a lot of different changes that have been happening in our whole world. Not only did I take a mental reset, but I got us a family counselor, family counseling. That was really cool. We were already invested in that through Centerstone. If you are or know someone who has a kid who is in a Tennessee state school, Centerstone actually partners with public schools to provide external services. If you or someone you know has a child who is struggling, I definitely encourage you to reach out and use that. I first went through Centerstone when I was a teen, and then as an adult, I transitioned out of that because I'm fine. And then whenever we came to this whole grief counseling, when David passed away, I wanted to use as many resources as possible. So I reached out to Centerstone and the schools, and we partnered and got outside resources as well through the school. They had those resources available. So just want to encourage you guys, if you are struggling in that department when it comes to family support, what's really cool is that there are options that are available to you that are free. So use them definitely. Also, I did in my research, if you're local, Tennessee as well, and local to me, I will tell you that there are 2 Al-Anon chapters here. There's one in Ashland City and there is one in Pleasant View, which was really cool to learn about, talk about, and see. No, I have not personally gone. I have been doing a few other things, but I do know that we have that option. So now, even though I haven't personally gone to these places for Al-Anon, I've been doing a few other things, resetting mentally our schedule, getting prepared for school. I also have been going to private counseling as well. I've had 2 sessions since our last time we hung out, which was pretty neat. And it was refreshing. Well, for one, I have to understand something, and I've talked about it before, and it's kind of funny, but I have to understand that I am autistic. I know that that sounds a little silly, but my perception of things may be emotionally different than someone else's. And I can't compare my perception to someone else's because theirs is my reality. So I have to understand that often it's me wanting acceptance more than it is wanting to be understood. And I try to choose my words as carefully as I possibly can, and then I still get them wrong. So I feel like I'm tiptoeing on landmines. And then when it's not received in the way that I want it to, that shit rocks my world. And that's a part of having the autistic experience. Also, in acceptance, often when seeking connection, or look, God bless America and all that is fucking holy. I'm trying. I'm losing my words. Anywho, often when we are seeking acceptance, it's really we're wanting to feel connected, and that's typically why people who are like me, who are high functioning, find platforms because we are looking for that connection. And with connection and community, we do feel a sense of validation. But I learned actually from Holly Madison, the Girls Next Door, Playboy. She's so cool. She has her own show as well, and she talks about the autistic experience from her perspective and in her lens. And being able to hear somebody else say something like that was refreshing and eye opening, and being able to talk and share in that experience, it having that validation and understanding that first before I go into a space where I don't know what to expect because I'm looking at it through a new lens. My previous perception when going to Al-Anon was definitely like, this is so lame. This is, I don't want to, like, why do I want to do this? And that's not fair because, again, I'm not really one that wants to continue to harp on the same things or tell the same story over and over again, because even when I would hyperfixate on that and hyperfixate on situations, I'd be tired of beating a dead horse. Like, let that bitch lie down, you know? Like, it gets old. But sometimes the horse gets back up and does something new, and then I got to talk about it again, and then I'm pissed off because I'm still bringing up a dead horse. Like, and having that mental battle of not wanting to share things because you feel like you're beating a dead horse and you don't want to bore other people or do other shit. I get it. I feel you on that. But sometimes we do have to go through it and be in it. We do have to dissect it for what it was, accept it for what it is now, and then figure out what it's going to be. I say that a little bit more often than I want to because things don't always work out the way that I think that they should. But typically, they try, I think, to work out the way that they need to be. And even if I'm kicking and screaming the whole way, I know that on the other side of it, like, I'm going to be fine. And you will be too. I know we're all going through a lot right now. Apparently, it's some kind of retrograde. I don't know. I'm tired of it. But you can't just stop living because shit is hard. And if I did that again, I just wouldn't be who I am, because I think we're always just going to go through hard shit. I talk about the book of Job sometimes, is that was one of the hardest books of the Bible that I think I personally have ever read. To hear someone go through something, felt like every single day that they woke up, it was something new. Having to read about someone who's going through hardship, but they have so much faith in the Lord and doing everything, like, God, I'm doing everything that you asked. Like, what is going on with me? Like, why is this happening to me? What is this? It's something new all the time. I'm losing everything. I'm losing my mind. And then I realized, like, there's no promise of a good life. There's no promise of an easy life. There's promise of salvation. There's promise of deliverance. And I don't want to romanticize that in any capacity because, again, I'm getting better, guys. I'm getting better. No, no ideations over here. Ah. Just in case my counselor's listening. But it's healthy to be aware of what is going on and accepting it for what it was, and know that with the good comes the bad. That's why there are always going to be rainbows after rain. And I don't have to question everything. I just sometimes have to take it for what it is. Even if it, again, isn't what I wanted, it will be what I need in the long run, whether it's a lesson or a blessing. If you've listened so far, I want to thank you so much. I also want to thank our new crew. We are getting new things lined up and out of the way. I'm super pumped. If you are an Apple subscriber, guess what? They have approved our subscriptions. What does that mean? That means that you can choose ad-free listening with a monthly premium or yearly. I tried to be as cost effective as possible, because here I am talking about what a broke bitch I am. I don't want anybody else. And I get ads are annoying. Believe me. They're coming everywhere. I don't know. But I need them, because again, if I'm on the news talking about how broke I am, I'm going to tell you what I can get, you know. So with that, if you're tired of the ads and if you want to have some exclusive episodes and as well as podcast video, definitely check it out. That's going to be through Apple subscription, and I'm super, super thankful for them. I also have to give a huge shout out to Grayman 3D for our signage and equipment. We wouldn't be able to do what we do without you. And if you haven't already, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe everywhere you stream your podcasts. We record new episodes every week. Before I let you go, don't forget we have a Monday mantra and a tip of the week. And this week's tip and mantra is not as projecting and as I felt last week, for sure. But our tip this week is not every text needs an immediate reply, and not every invitation deserves a yes. Not every opinion requires your attention. The more you protect your time and energy, the more you have to give to the people and goals that truly matter. And honestly, I feel that way. Having to remove myself and no longer beg to be a part of tables that don't have a seat for me was hard. Hearing that I did everything right, I did everything good, blah, 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 cool, thanks. What did that do? And with that, going where I'm celebrated and not tolerated is what matters. Now, my mantra, Monday Mama mantra. I release the pressure to be everything for everyone. I choose peace over proving, progress over perfection, and progress over people pleasing. That's pretty dope. Actually, purpose over people pleasing. I can't read y'all. I told y'all, George Bush and that whole No Child Left Behind thing really got me. Really got me on my reading. Damn, dyslexia. Anyways, if you've listened so far, thank you so much. I am very grateful to have you here. See you next week. Love ya. Bye.